So welcome everyone to a very active, playful session here Monday morning at Good of the Whole and our Global Heart Resonance Call. So we're here to have some fun, to embrace all living things today as we gather together as a collective voice for this unified field. And here we're coming together to experience, embody, and express our inherent wholeness. So I'm Shelley Darling, and a little fun here in Florida. And just a little reminder that we're all stewards for good of the whole. That's really what's beautiful. And this morning, Michelle Marie is joining from Paris. Je t'aime, mon ami. So put yourselves on mute so we can hold this resonant field as we intentionally attune to and with resonance and build coherence as we come together as whole beings, contributing to and in service of the greater whole. And this morning, let's see, hold on, I'm just going to fix this. So this morning, we're here with the focus of time to play. And how do we do that? And with all that's going on in the world, so much chaos, and we're here to hold this field of love. So let's just begin with a little bit of resonance and a reminder to you all to speak 1 to 2 minutes. Embrace the pause. We get excited, of course, when we're playing. Embrace the pause, take a breath, and allow yourself to really track the thread of the person before you. How is the field emerging in its greater wholeness? And so we're here to, as a practice, to restore and rejuvenate and attune to what we're talking about as this beautiful home frequency. So welcome everyone. So just take a few moments to just close our eyes and feel into this greater organism of movement, of change, and of wonder. And as we take a few breaths, just really holding that breath, feeling that expansion in your chest, in your rib cage, allowing the heart to have its full expanded experience. And then releasing that breath. And just really sending our light and our love as we connect in here with our hearts this morning. Allowing ourselves to just settle in to deeper and deeper levels of our relationship with spirit, of our oneness with our soul purpose, our soul expression. And that as we move into this frequency that activates and ignites our love and our light. We are aware of this sparkling presence of this divine love and consciousness, moving us, always speaking its messages, signaling us. So this morning we just start here in gratitude as we open to this vibration of this day in full presence. And with that, I pass the talking stick over to our comedic resonance mentor, Michelle Marie from Paris.
That's funny, comedic. My family would not say that I was the comedic person from, but I can look silly. So I'm excited to be here today, and I don't always dress like this for those of you who don't know me already. And play really, really was begging to come forward for this call, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me to be sitting here like this. It's not always easy to be playful and silly like a child, especially among adults where the name of the game is quite serious most of the time. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to have partners in play, we understand how it is when we don't get to see them for a long time. So thank you for all those who are partners in play, and for those of you who it's uncomfortable. We're going to see what unfolds today, because the field was really begging for this, and it came forward in a very challenging way as I had to process through to a comfort zone of playfulness to bring it here today. So I'm just going to read quickly, or not so quickly, so we can take it in and feel it in, to see why the field wanted us to be so playful, and why it wanted to show up in a heart resonance call, where often we can have very beautiful, serious things come forward. So play is the only way the highest intelligence of humankind can unfold. I was very excited about finding that quote by Joseph Chilton Pearce, who is well known in the area of playfulness. As we are bombarded by the tragedies of life, it is easy to be distracted from our relationship with love as we feel the pain. Love is asking us not only to live as compassion and courage in the pain, but also to live as joy and laughter. It's a way to feed it. We cannot continue to only focus on the challenges, as our hearts are sure to break. Today we are being offered to focus on play, childlike play. Warning, playing as an adult may take some social courage, as it may involve the risk of social embarrassment, exclusion, or being unpopular. But evolutionary pioneers are used to that, aren't we? We are also used to joy and laughter and expansion of people just waiting to play in the field of love, and that too can rise from play. So today, let's share with one another how we play, or wish to play, or how we forgot to play. Maybe even how uncomfortable it is to play. We will inspire one another as a way to tap even deeper into the love with great joy as we evolve our planet. Our hard work is paying off, and more creative solutions are sure to rise as we take the time to play like a child in joy and laughter. George Bernard Shaw said once, "We don't stop playing because we grow old because we stop playing." And we are just infants in the field of love, and we're ready to expand that with great joy. So with that, I will pass the talking stick on.
Well, hello all. This is Kate in South Dakota, and I can pick up the talking feather on this topic of play, as I've kind of insisted on playing my entire life. It has to be fun, because there is so much. I worked as a nurse, and you see everyone at their lowest point, and I never had any children, and so every opportunity I get to be around children, I'm playing with them, because just when they laugh, something tickles them, and you just see that laughter. And I've also been experienced to some being the first. Like I recall a couple times having children in for different things, and saying, my mother was very strict and always, told us, no, you don't do that. And I saw that some of these they'd never been said, to. It really startled them, and I just felt the impression that I gave upon them in that moment. And so I'm always constantly in search of how to play better with others, because I've learned how to play with myself pretty much, and that's kind of interesting. Is a lot of things that people find funny, I don't find funny at all. I have this dry sense of humor, but yet I'm always laughing and joyful, and you know, nobody likes me to laugh harder at myself than myself. Just some thoughts on play for me, and I'll return to Talking Feather. Thank you for listening. I saw hats were in the themes. You know, I'm kind of a hat collector. Have to wear them this day and age up here in South Dakota that look like this. Really returning the feather. Just playing with y'all.
Well, howdy everybody from howdy from Colorado. What a wonderful theme. And what the first thing that came into my heart and my head was remembering a time when I think it was my mother said to me, not everything is fun, you know. Not everything is fun and games and play. You have to be serious. And today in my life, if it's not fun, I'm out of it. No matter, and I understand there are many serious things in life. And we have to handle them perhaps in a serious way. But if I don't have that balance of bringing joy or fun at the other end of perhaps that serious situation, then I'm not in balance. And people around me aren't in balance. It affects everything. It affects the universe. It affects everything around me. So I look for fun in everything I do. Not even, but especially when it's the mundane or something that really you can't almost imagine the fun in it. I think of something, I play music, I go into my heart and think, how can this be fun? How can I make this fun? I mean, today, this is just another beautiful way to start my day. Just seeing you all and with different hats and different looks, and it is part of putting out into the whole global heart resonance, putting out joy that this planet needs so much. It needs so much love, and only through love and joy can there be real healing. And recently gone through a lot of concerning, sad times with what's happening in California, just a couple miles from where I lived, and being joyful for knowing a couple people that were in the fires and also in the nightclub that are okay, as opposed to only looking at the sadness of those that were hurt or killed. And that's been a bit of a challenge to stay in joy for that, but I'm so grateful for those that are in a good place. And I just wanted to say hello again, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm passing the talking stick back. Thank you. I'm complete.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I love the topic, and it's great because having just moved recently to London and promoting my work here, it's so perfect timing this, because I was really thinking, I am just going to have to show my color. I am just going to have to dare look a bit silly and say, you know, be playful about how I want to work, because that is how I'd like to work. So I am embracing this and loving it. So, and I can already sense how the energy is full of inspiration and imagination, and that's what we need. We need the imagination to bring in the new. I'm complete. And I'm here twice because my mic isn't working on my computer, so I'm trying to see you all and work with it.
This is Shelley, and I just want to follow that thread. Can you guys hear me? I just realized I don't have my headset in. Okay. I just want to pull through that word again, imagination, and just feel it ripple through the field, because imagination was something that really wasn't in my vocabulary even as a child. I was always looking to jump out of the experience I was having, and instead of really what we're doing here, like really embracing and embodying this experience of wholeness, which in its fullest expression has to have this vibrational field of imagination, expansion of going beyond thought, going beyond the limiting beliefs to this ultra creative space. And funny, because I don't really listen to radio very much, but I was listening to the radio on the way to dropping off my mom's car this morning, and was talking about Disney and how many of us, grew up in this imaginative world, and still children do. And I just feel like there's something, like I feel like that spark of light, that divine spark, has everything to do with imagination. And in that imagination carries the frequencies of curiosity, wonder. And I also am feeling this pull deep in my belly, because I can feel the multitude of beings in the planet that are simply trying to survive, simply trying to keep their children safe, and how to hold that in this space. I think that's part of this call for me, is like, well, okay, I know all this other stuff is going on, and can I allow myself the freedom of my own imaginings, So yeah, I just want to drop that into the field. Thank you for that word, because words hold a vibrational field, and they're a symbol for us as a whole culture. That we can keep imagining, even imagining a world of joy, a world of love, a world of love. We talk about that a lot in Good the Whole. So with that, I pass this beautiful, talking, playful feather. And just forgive me for 1 minute. Who's ever on says Samsung, if you could put yourself on mute, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't know about the hats. I guess I didn't read the memo, but maybe I have a hat. I don't know. I have a lot of hats. I wish I got my hat. What is being said about imagination and play? I spent a fair amount of time in my life being with children in what I call the Middle Kingdom, and that sense of play that's there. It's like, it really is like entering an alternate reality, and it really is like what we all love when we're creating together in a magical, mystical story. That was just, it was just the essence of play for me, which has a lot to do with creativity. For me, everything that I do that's kind of creative, I'm working on my Doodle Clarissa book. As I talk to you, I'm just doodling a whale. I'm doodling a whale who's in the Clarissa book. We're almost done with it. So that's been a lot of fun and creativity. But the play that I experienced with the children it was like being on this plane that we're right now. Like I could be in this room or like any place in a restaurant or any place, and suddenly it turns into something else. It's another scene. It's like has mysterious places in it, and you have to explore. And everything is a symbol, and everything is like magical and dangerous and scary, but in a good way. And very present in the moment. It's not in the head, it's a living experience, like being inside a story and a whole world of magic. And I really experienced that for many years being with children and with my granddaughter, because I would be able to enter that field. And it is like the field we talk about here. It's brought forth here. It's a heart resonance field. And people fight in that field. Even there are little conflicts, but it's just all part of a big play, like a play in terms of a drama. So that's what I wanted to say now about that. It could be called imagination, but I'll tell you something. I'd rather have that than have it was just so real in its own way, so engaging, like it wasn't boring. It wasn't like I've seen that picture before, I've seen that wall before, I've seen that tree before. The tree was some kind of a creature, and the picture was a message to us. So, and children kind of live there to some extent, maybe till they're ruined for it. But I was able to enter that with them, and it was great. Great. I love that.
This is Michelle, and in case you can't see my mouth moving, so I was identifying myself, but children do live there. Many children who have the luxury of living there. But even I've been with children who've been in incredibly difficult situations and challenging lives, and they still could find their joy and playfulness. And they long to be joyful and playful. And I think we're so attracted to it. I can speak for myself. I'm so attracted to that in children because they bring that out in me, and they allow that to come forward. And it taps into a piece of me, a part of me that I often hide. I hide it because I'm trying to act the way I'm supposed to act in a particular situation. There are social norms that I often want to go against, and I've learned how to be, a good steward of social norms. And I've been trying to break through that. And I feel like part of why this is entering into the field is I do believe most of us here are playful and understand that and are really attracted to it. We talk about our children and we love to laugh together even in just the normal course of our conversations and our lives. But it's a deeper tapping and entering it into the field so that we have courage to go into a place where we wouldn't normally feel comfortable and do those playful things. People are aching for it. If we long for it and express it with one another, and we're so happy to see our playmates, just imagine what the rest of the world is aching for as well, and we have been able to tap into it some, but I feel like the message is to have the courage to live it out loud in those moments when it's uncomfortable. And I've been trying to embrace that while we've been living in Paris for a few months, where nobody knows me and they will never see me again. And it's allowed me to have more freedom. But, it's still so uncomfortable. And the process is, why are we uncomfortable with being joyful and playful when we're, and so comfortable with being very serious and very knowledgeable and very, professional, or for all those words, why is it so hard to tap into that piece that we get excited about? And maybe, maybe even some of us went, oh, I don't really want to talk about play today. What is this going to be? Why does that kind of make us feel uncomfortable? I speak for myself again that I don't feel accepted in the social norms when I'm playful. But I feel like I'm getting a boost of courage here today. Thank you.
Mm. Well, trying to fit in the social norms, that's been my main game in life as a serious person. I remember there was a time that when I was accessing my heart, a different aspect of me. One of the rules that I had, that once a week I would do something to totally break through that social norms. It's like in my own practice, I was calling it the not doing. It was doing, but it was not in the old pattern, in the way that it was acceptable and I knew who I am. So that was to really open different aspects of myself to kind of be in touch with that creative juice, to just see what would come out of that. So interestingly, since I didn't read the memo either, I came a little late to the call. What has been interesting, just the play. I remember when I was a child, and when I was playing, my play before I became serious, it was more of singing and dancing with the girls, or playing, with soccer with my brothers. In the adult forms, this is keep coming forward, and I wasn't sure if I should say that. I said, what's wrong with saying that? The play as an adult, not in my culture, but in this culture, I found it is exiled in the sexuality. When you talk about play with an adult, they see it as a sexual game. It's like, hallelujah. There is only one way to play for the adults in the body. So for me, when coming here, this is my play, because it gives me that tingling inside of me. Sitting, holding you, expressing my love for you, making a dish for me. I mean, anything. I mean, they're all play. And so something else that I'm present to is like what we call fun. It's like what we call love. It's like love always has to have a certain expression. Not everything is. It's like, I'm saying that I have had this moment, this is what it's telling me, that I've had this expectation that how the play, not only how the play look like, but how fun would look like. Is I mean, when we take our whole being somewhere in anything, isn't that the play of consciousness? Isn't that the whole game is about. So it is interesting that saying that. I remember that last time I am with this group of awakening the newest species, and we have a group of 8. So last time I gave myself permission to sing for them. It was a Rumi poem, just sing it in Rumi's language. And I mean, I haven't been singing for 50 years. So it was kind of really beyond who I am, because I always was shy, I didn't sing, and I kind of lost the voice. And so when I was singing it, in the middle of singing, all of a sudden, because we are going to Boulder this Thursday, in a couple of days, I'm going to go there, and it's about 400 of us. Michelle, you are in that, aren't you? I don't know if anybody else is, or are you coming or not? But all of a sudden, as I was singing it, I saw myself that I'm singing it for them. So as I saw that image, somebody, one of the people in the group said, "Oh, Nahid, why don't you sing that for all of us there in Boulder, in Loveland?" So, I mean, that would be another game beyond where I am and breaking those social norms that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm saying all the not doing or even anything that we take our whole being in that, it has come a play. I'm sitting in meditation with me and triggered that juice, within me. That is my play. I mean, I got in this conversation that I was limited to the game, what the play is and what fun is. That was something that I discovered. Thank you for the conversation for myself today.
Good morning, everyone. It's Nancy out in California, and I am coming to you from my new playhouse. So this is my new art studio that I come in every morning to meditate with painting meditation. And that's my form of play, because that's what I did as a kid. I would do art for play. So it's funny, when I heard, because I wasn't on the video when the call started, but when I heard that you guys had funny hats on, I ran and got a funny hat that I had on even when you couldn't see me. Because I was just like a fun puppy dog. If the topics play, I'm so excited and so in my element. And it wasn't always like that. It was like that as a child, but it wasn't always like that as an adult. And I can remember when I kind of lost my play and I was looking for how to have more fun. I'm still always looking for how to have more fun, because it seems like there's so many responsibilities. Or as was mentioned, I live about a half an hour from the mass shootings that happened. In fact, my daughter went to high school with the shooter. I mean, it's just bizarre. All these fires, I can see them still out my window, all the smoke, and yet everything is fine where I am. But then it's kind of hard to feel playful when everybody's grieving, but that's when we need the play. I mean, I've been learning over the years, play is spiritual and it's very, very exciting. And that might be one of my themes in life, you can't have, my internet connection is unstable. Can you still hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, a theme in my life many, many years has been, hopefully up until now, that, you don't want to have too much fun. You don't want to have too much money. You just want to have the right amount so you're humble and nobody's jealous of you. That's what stifled my play. And it took a lot of personal development work to draw that play out of me. So I'll end with this very interesting thing that happened yesterday. So last night, I went to a graduation of my daughter from a personal development seminar that I had done when I was exactly her age, 27, which was my first heart resonant opening group. And I still know some of those people from 40 years ago. This has been a big part of shaping my life. And my daughter was drawn to go to this seminar. And so I went to her graduation, and I got in touch with all of those things I did to release myself from not having enough fun and being able to play. And so my affirmation came back to me that I had created 40 years ago last night. I had no idea this topic because there's too much with the fires. I've been trying to help people. This house is burned down and so on. But okay, so I'm going to share my affirmation that I created 40 years ago at this seminar that my daughter was at last night, just opening up her loving heart and being in touch with her spiritual side and her magnificence and self-love and all the things that we all care about. So this is mine. I am a magnificent woman, allowing my joy to come out and play. Thank you very much.
I just want to check for the person who's on 408. If you're trying to speak, it's unmuted right now, and just to mute yourself if you don't want to speak. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll go then follow that thread because I think several times the mention of the fires and the shooting, and there's a lot going on the planet. I just returned from the Parliament of World Religions, and one of my highlights, I was thinking about this, one of the most fun highlights was these impromptu dance parties that popped up, these nice, amazing sessions where you never knew where they were going to come, and this international team of dance people just started all kinds of different kinds of dances. But I went to the Cosmic Mass with Matthew Fox one morning, and if anyone has been there, you'll appreciate this comment. And for those of you who have never been to a Cosmic Mass with Matthew Fox, it's this joy-filled experience of play in the room. There's music, there's visual, there's movement. It's all in our body, and we're in this play state of beingness. It's beautiful. But he always stops. There's 4 different segments of the Cosmic Mass. And he always stops, and I think it's the 3rd phase, to do grieving. And he says everyone needs to grieve. And we literally do a process that is incredibly powerful. And you experience your own grief, and you experience your neighbor's grief, and you experience the collective grief. And you do this release, and then we're back to play and dance and music and fun and finish off the Cosmic Mass. So just acknowledging that
that the play integrated with us really feeling our feelings and being who we are and holding what's going on the planet. We can still do that through play without pretending like nothing else is really going on. And I really appreciated that space. It really surprised me. I didn't expect that. I went into this room, I knew there's all these amazing lights and cool stuff, but the process was so powerful and so visceral. And I just encourage us all to really hold that, release that, and get back to the playing. So with that, I'm complete.
And following that thread, Julie, I just had a serious car accident late Saturday night. I hit a big buck head on, lost control of the car, and luckily, from a miracle, I was able to walk away. And so coming back to play, my brain's been this fight or flight response for the past almost 48 hours, and getting back to just being playful feels so good to release that fight or flight response and get back into the present moment and back into this fun, happy place. So that is what life is. It's times we would play and have fun, and there's times we have to be serious and grieve and go through all these emotions. And the global heart is holding it all and just being present with all this and having fun at the same time. So thank you.
This is Dinah. And as some of you know, I've been playing with my grandson. It's only once a week now, but still the play is such a shift in consciousness. It's a different experience of the world. And this is what the encouragement is, to play with what shows up, like this little baby boy who's just discovering it and trying to figure it out, and then deciding to make up a story and start to play, the imagination just moving his understanding, moving his experience to be known. And it's a beautiful process to observe and very, very powerful. And I feel that the toroidal movement is more than the sporadic, as we used to say, is moving us through this relationship with our created world, our consciously created world. And certainly our children are reminding us of how to do this, and find the joy and playfulness in letting go, releasing expectation and resistance, and simply jump into the moment with joyful curiosity. I'm complete.
I just want to bring in Karen.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. It's so great to be reminded. There's been a time when I felt like I lost my joy. I'm alone most of the time, except with my virtual friends and family here. And Grace, I do want to say it's so glad to see you today. We heard you yesterday, but so glad to see you today. And I had to think about that at some point, following some of the threads of others. What really is play? What really is joy? What constitutes that? As a child, it's different. I realized I'd spent most of my life, I've spent a lot of time alone. Not always, and I did have my son who we played a lot when he was little. And I have my fur babies and we play. And they chase it and other things. But I really thought about this and questioned the field too about the joy and bringing back joy. And while I'm listening to people, many things were coming through. I was being reminded of when I would sit in the Sunday school and nursery, but especially the nursery at the Unity I first started this journey through many, many years ago. And I enjoyed being in the nursery. Sometimes there'd only be one or two babies to young toddlers, not quite able to go into the Sunday school yet. I still remember watching and enjoying watching this baby. And the baby's play was exploring and discovering, and just every little thing that just caught its attention and fascinated it down to the most littlest thing. And watching and the joy that brought to just watch and experience with that baby as it discovered things, just crawling around the floor in the room and things. And I was brought to my own childhood where until I was on, swimming team and things like that, my parents split up when I was fairly young, which was almost unheard of in those days, because we're talking the 50s. And I spent a fair amount of time when I was old enough, by today's standards, I wouldn't have been considered old enough, but by then I was in elementary school, spending time alone. And what I did for play by myself, I'd ride my bike like the wind, and I'd climb trees until my mother would find out and cut the limbs off so I couldn't get up there or something. And I did things like that. And now I sit alone, and as I've been back in this, since I've been more in the spiritual world and remembering things from early life, past lives, other things, and being led, and you're right, playing in the field is a wonderful place. I've been led to discover so many things that have been so interesting and brought me joy to, like, wow, look at that. Oh, wow, we didn't know about that. All the things that we, are discovering now on the planet that have, we've been lied to and a lot of things kept from us, but it's all coming out now. And we're discovering our true origins. We're discovering things on the planet. I've been discovering, ancient things and all about ancient civilizations and all kinds of things. And it may not be childlike play, but in a way, it's still discovery, like I watched that baby do. We're still babies here, discovering who we really are, what we're really about. And except for this year, because I'm double digits, so that kind of is a special number, my age. Most of the time, I identify myself as being 25. This year, I'm 25 with 41 years experience. But some days, I'm only 12. And there are sometimes you're going to find a 5-year-old. And sometimes you're going to find one even younger. I don't have a hat, but I can play peekaboo. And this has been a wonderful call that's reminded me I haven't been doing some things that bring me joy and happiness and somewhat get me playing. And I need to start doing some more of that. Because when you live by yourself, and I'm alone most of the time, I forget, put on music, dance. And, you know, remember to play with my little fur babies, and they love it. And sometimes I just get too busy, just like someone said, surviving and taking care of everything, because I am the only one to do it. Everything, you know, there's nobody else. So, and it gets tiresome sometimes to remember to play, because play brings you energy. And I'm happy to hear that cosmic masks are still going on. When Matthew first started that, he came to Melbourne, Florida, spoke at a Unity. Some of the people from our spiritual metaphysical community went out and learned how to put them on with him and experienced them. Came back and we put on a cosmic mask many years ago, but we put one on, and I'd forgotten about this. And a woman started something called Interplay that was just reminding us what it was to play. And it's such an important part of life to be able to release and let go and just be children again. And I love when I meet people who are like-minded and we get talking. I get so excited. I get that feeling like a little child. And it's like, and then I get talking too much because it's just exciting, you know? It's that tingling feeling that somebody mentioned and more, that then you know you're in the right place with the right people at the right time, because it feels like that. Feels like that. So thank you all. And I really appreciate the call. I'm going to pass the talking stick now, because otherwise I might get too excited and talk too much more.
Okay, I'm grabbing that beautiful, playful talking feather. And I think feather is really appropriate, because what this is bringing into being is the sense of lightheartedness in amidst everything and anything that we're doing. Can we hold that quality of lightheartedness? Very powerful. And after watching my grandchildren for 5 days, some moments I had it and some moments I didn't. Very interesting. So with that, this is time where we're just going to open it up to the people that haven't shared, and invite you to unmute yourself. For those with two phones, just want to say, just so that you, if you're not seeing the screen, it's just this beautiful, colorful, playful, gorgeous expression of color and playfulness. And I will be posting these pictures because it feels appropriate in this time. So with that, those of you who haven't spoken, please jump in and be conscious of keeping it to 1 to 2 minutes, and we'd love to hear from you.
Good morning, everyone. This is June from California. I just am really appreciating, as I'm going through 17 different things this morning, from joyful to crisis to all the other things that life brings us. And what I really have learned for myself, that the most important thing I can do to find joy is to really let myself be and go into what is in the moment. Because when I allow myself to really feel it and be with it and honor it, then I can shift very quickly to the next thing that happens, whether it be lighthearted and joyful or another serious kind of thing. But it gives me the permission not to have to stay in feelings that are heavy or hard. And I was experiencing that yesterday. My grandson, one of my grandsons, is about 1.5 miles from the fire in Chico, and his home is filled with friends who have lost their homes. And so holding him and his family in our hearts, and yet at the same time being at a joyful sound healing conference, and going back and forth between the two, and allowing and giving myself the gift of being able to feel both at the same time is really so important and so meaningful to me in my life. And so I just want to say thank you for being here today and for giving me joy. And I'm complete.
Real quickly, hi, this is Deborah in Colorado, and my birthday was this weekend, and I danced on Thursday night with my ecstatic dance community, and a friend of mine said, "How old are you, 50?" And I said, "No, 15," because that's the way I feel inside, even though I'm 67 now. And I just want to say I'm about to go walk the dog out through the crystalline, beautiful, pure snow underneath a blue sky and have some fun. So joy is the key for sure. Thank you all.
Hello, this is Kundi in Pacific Grove, California, and I just dropped in late to play in the stream with you. I wanted to dip into the water and practice joy, which is what I do every day. I'm complete.
Hello, this is Oriana, and this weekend I have been looking for and feeling into the will to live for the world, like the world as an organism. Where is that will to live? And this weekend I just reached a point where I just couldn't find it. It was like, wasn't like being suicidal, but it was like this feeling of why bother? Why bother? People are killing each other. The planet's burning up. And I felt the deep remorse of it and just this, yeah. So coming back to the joy of seeing the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, that is our civilization, and knowing that we're meant to be something far greater. That we who know this stepped in from this future that is our higher possibility unfolding. And so I thank you all for reminding me of joy, that there is a joy in bringing it forth, feeling the aliveness and the will to live. Thank you.
Beautiful. I just want to acknowledge, before we spiral out into our week, in terms of what was just being shared, I haven't been out to the beach. The beach is my home. The crystal sands of Siesta Key are such a magical place, and that crystal always brings me to greater aliveness. But I haven't been out there because of the red tide, and this morning it was just like, go. And I went out there, and there was this photographer, and I see him out there all the time. Even when I last left in May, I saw him there the day before I left, and there he was again. And I asked him, because I know he's out there like every day photographing the birds. And I asked him, have you seen the dolphins? Because I haven't seen a single dolphin. And I was wondering, through this red tide, what happened to them? Are they around? And just assumed that they were gone. And he expressed that he had seen them yesterday. And in terms of this experience, which I really feel is, thank you, Michelle Marie from Paris, who brought this forward today, because, it's like holding the whole. It's in order to serve the whole, we have to be the whole. And I think today has been such an expression of that, where we hold the grief and the possibility, the joy, the presencing, all within our bodies. And when I heard that those dolphins were out there, I just, what are they a symbol of? They are the symbol of play. And I was just reminded of that as I was looking, as Oriana was speaking, and saw that dolphin behind you, and hearing of the doodling of the whale, that they're not going anywhere. So why should we leave our joy? So I just want to invite us all to carry that out, that we can hold all of it. And it does take a sense of balance, finding our way. And beauty is that we are a community of beloved hearts, connecting with other communities and circles of beloved hearts. And in that way, it's not that, it's that we are being that something greater. We're holding the field for others to come in. And by the grace of the child within us, right? The child within us that's teaching us. We can bring more of that out into our world and into others' worlds. So with that, let's everyone take yourselves off mute. I'll take everybody off that I've muted, I don't know. And let's just send out that beautiful home frequency, that vibration of wholeness, love, playfulness, joy, and
Yum, 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 yum.
Much love. Love, love, love. Love.